hope you guys are a little bit jazzed up and ready to roll. If you want to have a different experience tonight than you've ever had, you're going to have to do things a little bit differently. And that's why I'm in the groove, trying to get your bodies moving. So grab some water. I want to make sure you've got water nearby. And I want you to just, with me, put a hand on your heart or on your belly and just take a couple deep breaths in. I want you to feel into your heart. Okay. So into the chat. I want to be super active in the chat here tonight with you guys, if I can find it. There we go. There. So let me know in the chat how you're feeling tonight. Are you feeling jazzed up? Are you ready to roll? Are you feeling tired? Has it been a long day? Where are you at? I want to get a vibe. Where's your energy at tonight? For me, I won't put it in the chat because you guys can all hear me, but I woke up today feeling super tired, feeling super like I was getting a cold. It's been a couple long days. My kid's been sick. It's not been a lot of sleep for me. And it's just been, I just felt like, oh, not today. Today is such a big day. I'm so excited. And I was able to use some of the tools that I'm going to teach you tonight to really shift in my energy. And I am here and I'm jazzed up to be here. So awesome. The other thing I wanted to ask you, if you can put in the chat, is this your first time attending a workshop with me? Have you seen me in person? Have you seen me online? Is it our first time getting to do this together? I'm just going to look back through these here. Oh, yeah, Jean Ann. Oh, dance party with the kids. I love that. Katie, I'm glad that you could make it here. I know it's tough. And thanks for being here. When we're moms, we have so many things and we can never control when the kids go to bed and what's going on with them. And then we feel like, oh, I'm so tired. I just want to zone out. So I'm proud of you for showing up and being here. There will, of course, be a replay. But yay, Megan, I'm glad you're here again. Great to see you. Yes. Fantastic. Okay, cool. So bear with me here. My screens are all a bit wonky. But before I get into the teachings tonight, I just want to take a second and see if I can get you guys to really get involved tonight. That's the whole idea. So take a screenshot, post it on social, tag me. We're going to have a giveaway at the end if you stay to the end. I'm actually giving away a free one-to-one coaching session. It's 90 minutes and it's just a whole transformative experience that you get, some one-on-one time that we can really address some of the issues that you're specifically going through, talk through them, work out some strategies. And so I'm super excited to get to connect with one of you guys in that way. Just make sure you're participating, you're commenting, you're active on social. If you feel like posting, go do that. Those are the types of things that are going to sort of just really make this experience really great for us all. And one of you guys will be able to get that one-to-one coaching at the end of the night. So that'll come later. But I just want to sort of thank you for being here. I know your time is so sacred, as we've been talking about. Got some people here who are feeling a little bit like they've got the winter blues and they need a bit of a mood booster. But the general feeling that I'm seeing here in the comments is that you guys are just tired and happy to be doing something for yourself. I love that. That makes me really happy that you're taking the time to do that. So we should all celebrate each other and the time that we have together. So thank you for your time. I know I'm going to go over the hour already. I have a feeling I've got so much to talk to you about. I've got like 10 pages of notes here that I want to cover. So if you see me looking this way, that's what I'm looking at. So the first thing I want to do, though, real quick, as we get into talking about energetics, intuition, and creating space, is we're going to do a quick body scan just to figure out where we're at. And so 2 minutes tops. So what we're going to do is just sort of close our eyes wherever we are, whether we're sitting with our feet on the ground or cross-legged on the bed. And we're just going to take a few minutes and notice how we're feeling. And we start at our toes and our feet. And we just focus on that area and we breathe in and see if we can direct the breath there to the feet. And what are you feeling? Are they tired? Are they aching? Are they tingling? And then you're going to take another breath and just sort of move up into the calves. Take another breath. You're going to move up into your thighs. How are they feeling? They've been carrying you all day long. They've been working hard for you. We're going to send them some love and some breath, energize them a little bit. Breathe into our stomach. Maybe we've got some anxiety going on. Maybe we've got some, who knows, stomach bugs going around my house. Whatever you're feeling, breathe into it. Breathe into your heart. Deep breath. Feel your arms and your hands. Just take a moment and notice how they're feeling. We're going to send breath into our throat and into our head, all the way up in our forehead. Just taking notice of how we're feeling. And I want you to take a deep breath and just like audibly exhale it all out. And I can't hear you. You're the only one who can hear you. So not to worry about that. I'm the only one who's having the breath exhale too. So what I wanted to start with, sort of in an opening type of ceremony, is setting an intention for the group tonight. And my intention tonight is to open our hearts and to lean into the opportunity that we have to connect with ourselves. That is my sole intention for this hour with you. Open our hearts and lean into this opportunity that we have to connect. Okay. And what I like to do, you guys might think I'm a little bit woo-woo or a little bit nutty, but I've got this really great deck. It's called Angels and Ancestors. It's like an oracle card deck. And I just want to sit here real quick, tune in and pull a card, because what I use these cards for is sort of messages. I always sort of ask as I'm shuffling this deck, what message am I needing to hear right now? And as I do one collectively for the group, as we've set our intention to be present and open-hearted with ourselves, what kind of message is going to serve us in this space together? So the card we got tonight, oh, that's cool. The She-Wolf. Oh, that's so cool. So I'll read to you guys what that's all about. But it's called, oh, nice, Megan. You're here for it. I love that. I've only got 2 decks and I'm working on it. So the She-Wolf, it says, unleash the wild within. Okay, I feel like this is a really good one to have for us tonight. So let me just find the She-Wolf, page 68, and I will read to you guys what this is all about. And my hope is that you can find something that lands with you from this little description we've got going on. So the message is to let your wild side up and out, unleash your talents and your desires. The She-Wolf is a powerful shamanic soul who is half wolf and half woman. She's the alpha female who's not afraid to stand out from a crowd, or in this case, the pack. She's wild, unfiltered, unfettered. She encourages you not to be trapped by the limiting factors of weaker members of the pack or those who are trying to hunt you down because you have gifts that they don't like or understand. She represents the energy of the wilderness and the unknown and encourages you to be free and unchained and go beyond boundaries. Release the animal energy within and track down what you need to do to express your true self. Wow, that's pretty cool. And there's a little extended message. You are being rewilded at this time, guided to reconnect with your rebellious heart, the part of you that likes to break boundaries and go beyond them completely. If you've been holding back on your hopes or dreams, you're being encouraged to chase after them now. Let the wolf energy from within help you track down what direction you want to go in, and don't let any traps or hunters get in the way of your freedom or your growth. The life you want is here. Ooh, that's a good one, guys. I love that. Feels so appropriate for tonight. And that's the thing I love about these cards and just pulling angel cards, and that you always get really cool message. So I was really feeling that tonight. Hope you guys got something from that too. So I want to see if we can see, let me get my head wrapped around where we're at here on my little notes. I started and I'm already trying to find my place. Okay, I guess we're gonna get right into it. Let's take a deep breath and exhale. we're going to smile. Just have a big old smile. And now we are in our bodies. We are here to learn. So let me know in the chat. We're going to start with energetics, move into intuition, and move into how we can create space for those things in our lives. So is it the first time you're hearing about these things? Have you got a little bit of understanding about what your intuition is? Are you in touch with it? Do you know anything about the energetics of not just like, hey, I feel energetic, but everything being energy? I want to see where you guys are at with that, so I know how I can sort of gauge the information that I'm going to be giving you tonight. New to all of it. Okay, cool. Well, hopefully you don't get any, hopefully I'm not laying it on too thick here. So we've got some beginners, some people who are a little bit more experienced into this type of thing. I kind of feel like, oh, the energy books. That's cool, Megan. I've not read that one. Yeah, cool. I feel like we're all kind of in the same space. It's something that I'm learning a lot about myself, and my whole MO is as I go through and I learn and I grow, I sort of package that in ways that make sense for you as a working mom, as a stay-at-home mom, as a mom in general, so that we can take these tools and these resources and apply them in our own lives, because we're in a unique situation. Each of us is in our own unique situation within motherhood and where we're at with that, how old our kids are, what that looks like for us. But I think just having the ability to deal with all of the learnings that we're looking for, deal with all the growth that we're looking for in a way that matches our space now is super duper helpful. At least it is for me. So, oh, hold on a second. I think I have someone still in the waiting room. Crap. Hello, Stephanie. Hello. I'm sorry I've left you waiting. Stephanie, I'm so sorry. Okay, she's here. We're all here. Cool. So let's get into it. We're going to get into it. So by definition, guys, energetics is actually a branch of physics that deals with energy. And if you know me, you know I'm not a scientist in any way, shape, or form, but I can get my head around the fact that everything in our world is made up of energy, and we can't always see that energy. Okay. It isn't just what you create by, moving your body or the way that you feel after a good cup of coffee. Energy is more than that. Every single thing, including our thoughts, is energy, and it's got its own frequency. It vibrates at its own frequency. And if you've heard anything about the law of attraction, the law of vibration, anything like that, this is all in the same type of realm. You might be familiar with the idea, but it's a law of the universe. So it's a law much like the law of gravity. We don't have to know how it works. We don't have to believe that it's happening. We don't have to understand it or see it, but it is always working. We are always grounded to the earth. And there is a law of vibration where every single thing is energy and every single thing is vibrating at its own unique frequency. Okay, so even if we don't understand it, because I don't understand it, it still exists. Cool. And I'm sure that we've all had some kind of experience where we would maybe walk into a room and we can just feel like, oh, there's been an argument here, or like, oh, things are tense, right? Or you have two people interacting and you can sort of see you can feel that something's going on, you can feel closeness between people, you can feel tension between people. And so that's what that is. Have you ever maybe met someone and instantly just had a connection with them or instantly disliked them? It's sort of that love at first sight, right? You recognize somebody's energy. That's what this is all about. And this is all evidence of the energetics, and it's happening in all these kinds of situations. Sometimes we can catch somebody's optimism, right? Where we feel happier just by being near someone who's optimistic and happy. And the opposite can happen too, where we're sometimes dragged down. If there's that person in the office who's negative and coming in, bringing all their stuff, crap from home and all that, they're bringing that in, and that can really drag down the mood. And so that's how it impacts us. That's how energy sort of interacts with us in our everyday. We might not have labeled it that in the past, but that's how I think about it now. And so let me see here. For me personally, though, I find it really useful to know and understand about energetics, because then I can understand if I'm feeling off in any particular way. And I sort of use that as my way to decipher what's going on with my energy. And I like to check in with myself if I'm feeling off, if I'm having a weird day, if I've got a headache or something's weird. I always like to check in and just ask myself, is this my energy? Or is this somebody else's energy that's impacting me? Because that happens a lot more than we might think. Oftentimes we can identify, oh, I just left that meeting and it was super stressful because the boss was yelling at everybody and the whole mood in the room got really tense. And I'm carrying that with me, but that's not mine. I can just release that. That's not my energy. And that's a really quick way to sort of identify if you need to do some work, or if something's actually going on with you, or if it's something that maybe you can identify, oh no, I know where this came from. And even if you don't know where it came from, sometimes it's good just to be able to identify that the energy is not yours. Yes, kids' energy, that's a big one. That's what we call a trigger. It's crazy. Our kids can give us an instant reaction, right? They just have this way of getting under our skin because they're us, and their energy is so connected to our energy that we react quicker. And that's one of the things too, I find, is that as you are in a closer relationship with somebody, that your energy is close with theirs. It's a really strong connection. And so you guys can feel the energy of one another more closely, and you're able to shift the energy of the other a lot more quickly too. I remember one time my ex-husband I was already in bed and he came into the room well into my sleep, and he had just had an argument with the neighbor that I couldn't hear, but I literally woke up out of my sleep because I could feel him. I could feel his his energy around. And I'm like, what just happened? Like, you just sometimes know, right? So it's super cool. I love, love, love diving into it and just staying curious about what is this energy? Where is this energy? Where can you feel it? I mean, sometimes you probably have noticed you leave somebody's company feeling really drained and tired, like they just sort of put you in this negative state because of the way that they are. And then you have other people in your life who maybe pour into you, right? And they boost you up and you leave them feeling happier and more motivated. And so the moral of the story behind all of this is to pay attention to the people and the situations and the things in your life that are energy, like giving you good energy that you feel good around, versus the things that sort of drain you a little bit. And so you get to decide, right, how you spend your time, how you spend your energy, and how you spend your money. Those are your choices. And so I like to sort of think of it as a battery, right? The people who have good energy that you like to be around, they're battery chargers. They fill you up. They pour into you when you are with them. And those are the type of people that you want to focus spending your time on, that you want to dedicate, putting your energy into that relationship, because you get value from it, because they're battery chargers. Whereas there's other people who might be battery drainers, right? And we all have them. Sometimes they're our family, sometimes they're our bosses, sometimes they're our spouses, and there's not much you can do about it. But if you can recognize that somebody is either a battery charger or a battery drainer, it's a really good way to get started in practicing to identify that, because the more knowledge you can give yourself, the easier it's going to be able to do some things to shake off that negative energy, which I'll talk about in a minute. So we can't always avoid the people or situations that are giving us bad energy, but we can protect our energy. And we can go into these situations where we know there might be a negative energy, shielding ourselves a little bit from it. So something that I like to do is pretend that I've got like a glass vase or like some sort of bubble over my head. And if I'm going into a situation where I know that I'm going to have to deal with somebody who gives me negative energy that I feel anxious around, I just imagine, before I go into the situation, putting this glass bubble over my head, and I can see through it and I can talk through it and we can interact, and they don't know it's there, but I know it's there, and it's protecting my energy. It is not allowing their negative energy to interact with me, right? And so there's things that you can do like that, that can help protect your energy. You can also see if maybe I kind of talked about that already, guys, and just in terms of understanding whether you've taken in other people's energy by accident, like a situation at work or an argument at home where there's sort of negative energy in the air and you're taking it in as your own. So you can ask yourself, is this mine? Is this my energy? And if it's not, just cut the cord, release it. Sometimes we can release negative energy in ourselves because one way it builds up sometimes, especially for moms, is trying to hold on control of everything. We're expected to do all of the things and hold all the responsibilities and make a lot of decisions and carry the mental load. And that can lead us to feeling like we need to control everything because it's our responsibility a lot of the time. But if we can release the need to control, then we can release a lot of that negative energy that's associated with controlling things. It's a lot harder to do it than it is just to say it. But that's an area you can look at. If you're feeling frustrated, you can maybe ask yourself, hey, is there an element of control that I can release here? There's not always, but sometimes there can be. And maybe that argument with your toddler about if they can eat, their peanut butter on the couch is not an argument that's worth having. And you can release that. And that is one way to sort of diffuse negative energy that can be building up. So let's see here. We can redirect energy. We can redirect energy that we were using to try to control things and sort of put that energy instead, put our focus instead onto something that's going to serve you, something that's going to serve your loved ones in that situation instead. Like instead of, for instance, I was having a power struggle with my 5-year-old on Sunday morning, and I stopped and I realized, okay, this is creating a lot of negative energy in this space. And instead of worrying and trying to control and trying to win the power struggle, what I did was I just stopped and I said, okay, let's have a hug. We just shifted the energy immediately by saying, whoa, this feels not great. Let's have a hug instead. Let's go take a walk around the living room, or let's sit down and cuddle or something just to shift it. It's super important to be able to shift the energy of a room. And if you can recognize that, it's a good thing to redirect your energy to something else. And it sort of has this ripple effect, right? Because if you're constantly looking for ways to shift negative energy and instead sort of transmute it and change it into something positive, the ripple effect on how your day is going to go, on how your relationships are going to go, the ripple effect of that can be huge. And I want to share with you guys something that I found to be super, super helpful when I'm transitioning sort of between responsibilities. So if I'm going from, let's say, work to home, or from dropping the kids off at daycare into my commute, something like that, you guys, I'm sure, know this. You can feel when your energy is drained, right? I'm sure right now we're all sitting here at the end of the day. We've given a lot of energy to a lot of people today. We've given, and we feel a bit heavy, and we feel like we've been drained a little bit, especially this time of night, right? And so what I want you to do, I want you guys to all do this with me. It's one of my favorite things to do now. You can feel yourself like that. Just call your energy back to you. Just out loud or in your head or whatever, just call your energy back. It's safe to come back to me now. All my energy, all that positivity can come back. And you can either like physically use your hands to bring it in like this, or you can just think it, call it. And another part of doing this is recognizing the different areas. I think of them as like little spider webs, almost like little spider webs of energy that I've spent throughout the day that are still maybe attached. I still have a spider web of energy that's attached to my kid, or that's attached to the office, or that's attached to whatever phone call I had to make that I didn't want to. And I cut them. I just cut those cords of energy. It's a really fun way to sort of recognize, like, okay, that's no longer serving me. That is done for the day. I have given that energy. That can be cut. I'm calling my energy back to me, right? Another fun way that is just something I do throughout the day is I sort of like push energy away physically, right? We can't see it, but energy's everywhere, right? And it's flowing everywhere. And so I find that if I can just push a negative energy away, even emotions, thoughts, things like that, if you physically push them, even though there's nothing there in front of you, it's a really powerful way for your body and your mind to connect. And you say, okay, that's not something I'm focusing on right now. Sometimes when you incorporate the somatic and your physical movements in, it can really make a shift quicker in your mind on what you're trying to do and what you're shifting your focus to. So that's super fun. I love doing that. I love doing the cut with the scissors, like, nope, 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 calling my energy back. So that's super fun. Okay. And let's see here. One way that we can start really to take control of our energy consciously and utilize the idea of energetics to our advantage is to set an intention whenever we're going into a situation. This is super powerful. And I like to do this whenever I have sort of a shift in my day. I think of my day in segments. And Megan, you'll probably be familiar with this because you did Esther and Jerry Hicks as well. But the idea is to have, they call it segment intending. And so as you go into each segment of your day, from, making breakfast to having your shower, to your kids, to being at work, all these different pieces of your day are different segments. And at the beginning of each segment, if you just set an intention on how you want to show up for that period of time, what do you want to get out of that experience? So if you can go into your commute to work, let's say, with the intention that you're going to arrive safely and on time, with the intention that you're going to use this space to connect with yourself and realign before you go into the office. If you can set an intention as you're cooking a meal that you're going to be nourishing your body and giving yourself what you need, that you're cooking with love. Before you go in with your kids to play, if you set the intention that this is a time for bonding and connection and fun and adventure, those are really powerful just triggers for yourself to stay connected with how you want to show up and the energy that you want to create in an experience. And if you can get in the habit of doing that throughout the day, you're literally creating how your day is going to go every single day, which is really fun. Let me see here. Okay. Yes. So like this, when we started this workshop, we set the intentions to keep our hearts open and to learn tools that we can use to serve us. However you enter a situation is going to really determine how it's going to go for you. For example, this morning when I woke up, I slept in an hour later than I normally do. I woke up feeling like I was going to have a cold to fight today. I woke up feeling tired. And I set the intention as I was sitting there eating my breakfast of the day. I said, this is going to be the best day ever. I'm going to feel energized, motivated. I'm going to show up in service for these women that I'm talking to tonight. I'm going to be there fully, and I'm going to be joyful. I'm setting the intention of showing up as my best self. And within a half hour, as my day got going, everything shifted. It's really wild. It takes practice to get really good at it, but you're honestly and truthfully in complete control of how your mind is throughout the day, how you experience things. You're not in control of what happens to you ever, hardly, especially with kids, but you are in control of how you can show up, how you can react. And it takes a lot of intentional practice to get to a point where you're thinking about that all the time, recognizing situations where you can adjust if there's energy that isn't going to serve you, or putting yourself in more situations where that energy is going to serve you. Okay. And then this is fun. Another strategy that I want to share with you guys is the idea of an inner circle. I'm sure we've all kind of heard this terminology, but I like to think of my inner circle as my battery chargers. They're like my cheerleaders, right? These are the people who pump me up, who believe in me, who support me. They love me, they encourage me, they listen, they believe in me, all of these things. And I feel better when I spend time with them. Those are my cheerleaders. That's my inner circle. And then there's everybody else. And they're not bad people. I don't have bad relationships with those people, but they're just not the ones that I've identified as my cheerleaders and the people who fill my cup, my battery chargers. You're not going to have a whole lot of battery chargers in your life. If you do, I'm so excited for you because that's fantastic. But most of the people are going to be neutral or battery drainers. That's just kind of how it goes. That doesn't mean that they don't love you. That doesn't mean that you don't love them. That's just how it goes. And if you can focus your energy and your time on the people who are battery chargers, on those cheerleaders in your inner circle, then you have a really clear idea of when you have free time, energy, money, who you want to spend those resources on and with. Because often I find that, especially now with social media, we have so many peripheral acquaintances and friends, right? There's so many extra things that we can be doing. It's cluttering in our mind, and it feels too much. I don't know about you, but I've got, 13 people at any given time who want to find a spot on my calendar to hang out or have a play date or whatever. And I have to be super intentional with my time. So I prioritize people who are in my inner circle. That's one way that I like to do it. If you can't get rid of the negative energy with any of these tools that I've given you, if you're finding it's just a shitty day, you just can't do it, get in the shower. Just get in the shower, let the water flow over you, and imagine that it's washing all of the bad energy off of you. It is going down the drain. It's not serving you. You can let it go in the shower. Not only is water super healing, and the warmth of that, and you're by yourself and it's quiet, but if you can just imagine, like, visualization is such a big part of life, of everything that we do, whether we realize it or not. And if we can use every opportunity we have to be able to visualize something, it's going to help us get to where we want to go faster. So if you're just stuck, if it's been a shit day, you can't come back from it, hop in the shower, let it shower away, and come out as like a restart and set an intention for the next segment. Okay, see how these are all kind of flowing together? That's really cool. And the last point I wanted to make about energetics, because I've taken up most of my time talking about this already, is that moving your body is a really great way to shift the energy. Like we did in the beginning, you get moving, you get grooving, you get shaking your body, using your voice. These are all really good ways to move energy around in your body. Energy wants to move. It doesn't want to be stagnant, right? So if we can physically jump, shout, walk, go for a walk, get in nature, that helps too. These are all really good ways to shift the energy around us. Okay. We're moving on, guys. I'm going to have a drink of water because my throat's getting very dry. And then we'll talk about intuition, which is beyond my favorite thing right now. Okay. So intuition is something that I've been talking really extensively on a lot of podcasts lately that I've been on my podcast and in my coaching. And it's a buzzy word, right? Like we've heard of intuition. We kind of know what it is. We know we all have it. We've heard of women's intuition, things like that. But I wanted to really just take some time today and explain to you what my interpretation of it is and give you some tools on how you can connect to your intuition, because I think it is the single most greatest thing that we have as a resource. And it's really about reconnecting, because it's not something that we need to find. Our intuition is already there. We don't have to find it. It's already in you, but we haven't been encouraged to listen. And so what we're looking to do is just reconnect with it. We're looking to reconnect. That's the best word I can use here. So to me, intuition is your internal compass. Okay, it's your highest truth. It doesn't need to be validated by anyone else. And it always knows exactly what is right for you and is in your highest good. And I always think of it as my inner self and my soul. It's something separate from my physical brain and my body, but it's wholly connected to my being. My intuition is me. It's me. And it's sort of that whisper of wisdom from my like enlightened self. The part of me that knows, that always knows what's right for me, is that voice. It's me, but it's smarter, you know? And so why is it important that we tune into our intuition? In my opinion, being connected to our intuition is the fastest, cheapest, and easiest way to change your life. It's the best tool that you have. It's at your disposal all the time. It's free, it's accessible, and we can transform our surroundings using our intuition. We can transform ourselves using our intuition, transform any area of our lives. If we're willing to listen to it, we can create the life that we're looking for. And so if you are someone who's looking for your purpose, or if you feel out of touch with yourself, or if you just want to make some adjustments in your life, intuition is the key to making that happen. So I'm just going to ask you guys, if you can write in the chat, ask you a quick question, and I want you to write down the very first thing that comes to your mind, okay? Is everybody ready? We're all here. What do you need to change in your life? First thing that comes to your mind. What do you need to change in your life? Write it in the chat if you feel comfortable. Write it down on a piece of paper if you don't feel like sharing. For me, it's time balance. That's an easy one. Two things happen when we ask ourselves a question like this, okay? Oh, the answers are coming in. Okay, I just want to check these out real quick, guys. Then I'll tell you about the two things that happen. There. Yeah. Night, Megan. Oh, I love these. Yes. Okay, cool. So these, when you ask yourself a direct question like that, like what needs to change in my life? Two things happen. The first thing is that your intuition comes in. That's always the first response. And usually you feel it. It's less of a thought and more of a feeling, okay? So the second thing that comes in is your ego. That's your conscious mind, okay? Your intuition, she's speedy. She's always there first, but she's quiet. So you really have to be intentional about listening to her, because what's going to happen most times is we have our gut instinct, we have our response, our intuition kicks in, I need this. But then right beside it, your ego's coming in, giving you all the reasons why that thing is not the real answer. Your ego has the real answer, and it's usually contradicting the truth of your intuition. We're really good at talking ourselves out of things, because the ego's whole job is basically to keep you safe, which often means keeping things status quo. It's like the devil you know or the devil you don't, right? The ego wants the devil you know, because it can deal with that now. It's already dealing with that now. It doesn't want something new. It doesn't want you to take a risk. And your intuition is often telling you to do something that's going to be different than you're already doing. It's going to be telling you to do something that feels like a risk or like it's out of your comfort zone, and your ego is like, no, thank you. And then you go down the rabbit hole of all the reasons why the ego wants you to stay stuck in what you're doing. And so if we can get into the habit of listening to our first instinct, our first answer, we're going to get more information. And here's the thing, you don't need to listen. You don't need to act on your intuition. A really good way to start to develop that connection with yourself is just understanding and listening. You don't have to act on it. Even if you know that's the right thing in the back of your mind and you trust that the intuition has your highest good, maybe for some reason, you're just not ready or willing to act on that. And that's okay. You can say, thanks, sister, I got it. That's fine. I'm still going to do this thing that feels safer or feels more comfortable or that feels right. Even though I hear you, it's that I hear you part that's important. Okay, getting in the habit of that. We're not bound to it. But the more we practice, the more we listen, the stronger that voice is going to become. Okay. And we can only really listen to it if we're paying attention. So did any of you guys have a gut reaction that isn't what you wrote down? Did anyone have sort of, can you think back, what do you need in your life right now? What needs to change? Any gut reactions that are different? I'm curious, because I feel like you guys are going to be already really good at, as we're focusing on intuition, listening to it. But if you can dive deeper and say, wait, is that the truth? Is what I wrote down the truth? What needs to change? It's always interesting. So that's the difference between your intuition and your ego, okay? I want to give you guys a bunch of ways to reconnect with your intuition, but I also want to be clear that you don't have to take her advice, okay? Let's get that one out of the way. Because if you can sort of knock that wall of defense down, because it's scary. It's scary to start trusting yourself in a different way than you have before. And so you're going to have an initial sort of, I guess defense is the right word that I'm looking for, to changing the way that you listen to yourself. Even if it's something you want to explore, you want to learn about, your mind is going to have a little bit of resistance. So if we can just ease the ego's mind and say, hey, we don't have to do anything about it, we just need to listen, that's going to go a long way in allowing you to open up that channel of listening to yourself, okay? So the first and easiest way to really tune into your intuition is to get quiet. Just go for a walk or a drive, or even a shower where you are with no distractions, no noise. That's a really great time. No music, no podcasts, no people, okay? Just be there present and see where your mind takes you. Because when you're quiet, your intuition has an opportunity to speak louder. It's a quiet voice. Like I said, it's that quiet, soft little voice. She's quick, but she's quiet, okay? And because there's always so much noise around us, she's not competing because she doesn't have to. She knows what's right. She knows. She doesn't need to prove it to anybody. She being your intuition, in this case. But if there's too much noise, you get distracted. So if you can get somewhere quiet, you have a better chance of hearing the intuition because there's no other noise. For me, the showers are really, I always have intuition hits in the shower. Bye, Katie, no worries. So that's a really cool thing to do. Just get quiet. Your intuition's not in the habit of fighting for your attention, so you need to give her the space to do that. And another really great way to tune into your intuition is listening to your body, okay? Your intuition's really clever. She's super clever, and she has a lot of ways to communicate with you that you maybe don't realize. There are physical signs that are really easy for your intuition to use to speak to you through your body. So something like goosebumps, or feeling excited out of nowhere, or feeling anxious. Those are all ways that your intuition can speak to you. Okay. A change in balance. If you're feeling out of balance, like either physically, like off balance, or mentally in your head, like, oh, things just aren't quite right. Any unexpected feelings of being like tired or energetic, these can all be symptoms, right? You got to stop and ask yourself, wait, why is this happening? For me personally, goosebumps, super good indicator that I'm on the right track, that things are going the right way for me. If I'm trying to make a decision and I'm sort of thinking out the different possibilities and weighing my options, when I'm thinking about the one that my intuition wants me to do, always goosebumps. And it takes a long time to develop that, but if you can get into the practice of just listening, be gentle with yourself as you're learning, you're going to find what your sign is. It might not be goosebumps, it might be something else. But I get goosebumps all the time at really specific moments. And I always pay attention to what I'm thinking about, what's happening around me, and I listen every single time. So you can always use the exercise that we did earlier too, to ask your intuition questions. And the first thing that comes to mind is the thing that your intuition wants to tell you and wants you to hear. So you just need to get quiet, ask, and your intuition always knows. You always know the right answer. That's the beautiful thing, is you always know. You just need to give yourself a chance to acknowledge that you know and start to trust yourself. Another way, it's sort of a more intermediate way of honing into your intuition, is to go on an advice diet, which is super fun. Difficult to do, but fun. You basically don't take advice from anybody for a week, or try for a day. But if you can do a week that's really powerful, you don't take advice from anybody for a whole week. Stop trying to get validation externally. Stop trying to get permission externally. Stop looking for answers in books, on the internet, from your friends, from your teachers, from whoever. Trust that you have the answers for a week. Just trust that you have the answers, because you do. You do. And other people's advice always comes from their own level of awareness, and they might have a different opinion or a different agenda on why they're giving you that specific piece of advice. So if you can just ditch that for a week, figure out what's serving you and your highest good, listen to your intuition, it's going to take you a long way. This one is really fun. It's like master level intuition. So if you can work up to this, it's a super fun way. It's called muscle testing. And you might be familiar with this term from like physio or kinesiology, the study of kinesiology. Basically a physical test to see if something is true for you or not. And you basically are using science. I'm not a scientist, as I described earlier, but you're using the same principles of muscle testing on your body to find out what's happening internally. Okay, so it's biofeedback essentially. And you get to tap into your intuition to get answers by doing this. So one way to do this is making circles with your fingers, your index finger and your thumb, and just connecting them, sort of like this, like a little link, like an Olympic circle, right? And you want to make sure that you're really sort of grounded. You've taken a few deep breaths, and you start by asking yourself questions that you know are true. And you ask yourself the question, and then you tug on your fingers. Okay, so I would say, if you want to do this with me, feel free. It's super cool, or you could try it later. I would start by getting centered, and I would say, my name is Jill, and I would tug. And the answer, of course, is yes. And my body knows that the answer is yes. And so it's giving me a strong connection. Okay, it's positive energy. So it's not breaking easily. I'm going to apply the same amount of pressure as if I'm like trying to snap my fingers, you know? So my fingers are pretty tight together, but you want to get sort of establish that baseline like a lie detector test. My name is Jill. It's Monday night. I'm here in Ottawa. Perfect. My name is Bob. Okay, Jill, doing a coaching session, and we're talking about time management. And your body, if it is a weak connection because it knows the answer is no, it's gonna have less muscle in your fingers. I don't know how it works, guys, it just does. There's a lot of different ways you can do muscle testing. You can do it with fingers, you can do a sway test back and forth. Some people use a pendulum. That's a way of muscle testing too, whether it goes back and forth or in circles. You look it up, there's like 7 or 8 different ways you can do muscle testing, but for me, super easy. And it takes practice, but you got to make sure that you're centered in yourself and that you're listening, and you do a bit of a baseline. Make sure that you trust yourself before you do it. And you have to let go of any attachment to an answer that you want. That's key too. You can't do the muscle test and be like, oh yes, this is the answer that I wanted, right? It's real biofeedback that your body's trying to give you. And the more that you can trust it, the more confident you're going to get doing it. So that's a super fun way to make decisions, ask questions, really understand what is true for you inside that you might not be allowing yourself to realize consciously. Your body-mind connection is just really so strong, and your intuition knows all of your truths and your beliefs and what is right and wrong for you. And when you're in alignment with that, you get such a strong energy response. And when you're not aligned, you get that weak energy response. So it's just kind of how it works. Let me see here. Yeah, so one other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about intuition was just listening and noticing. So your intuition, if it can't talk to you through your body, is going to try and talk to you through other things in your life. Have you ever noticed how you might have to learn the same lesson over and over until you really get it, right? You might go for the same type of guy every single time, and you know that it's not going to work out because of this, that, or the other, the type of person. And until you learn that lesson, your intuition is going to keep giving you the same lesson until you learn it. And then you don't have to learn it anymore, which is really amazing. Sometimes there's little nudges from the universe that you can listen to that are just downloads. Like all of a sudden you understand, you had this like whole piece of information that you didn't have before, and you have strong conviction or knowing about something. I call that a download. I keep a little book. I write down all my downloads that I get throughout the day, and I look back and I sort of think on them and understand, like, okay, well, where did this come from? My intuition. What does it mean? And then you have a chance to follow it and listen, right? If you're thinking about somebody, if they pop into your head several times, it's your intuition trying to talk to you, right? Call that person, send them a text. I have a rule that if I'm thinking about someone who's not normally in my thoughts every day, if I think about them 3 times, I send them a text, because something is always, always, always going on with them if that's the case. It's crazy. I can't explain it, but listen to those little nudges. Listen to those little thoughts that are maybe out of the ordinary and start to follow them. Get curious, see where it's going to lead you, and you'll start to find these cool synchronicities, and then you have that belief. So you have a belief, you take action on it. I have a belief that my intuition's talking to me. Okay, I thought about Jill 3 times. I'm going to text her. That's the action. Then you see the result, because Jill writes back and she says, oh my gosh, weird timing. I'm just separating from my husband. How did you know? How did you know to reach out? We haven't talked in months. Then you've got the belief. Belief, action, result, belief. Action, result, belief, right? It's this big circle. It strengthens it. So it's just practice. And so there's a bunch of different ways that your intuition can talk to you that are they're called the clairs. I'm not sure if anyone's heard of the clairs or not. It's clairvoyant. We've all probably been familiar with the word clairvoyant. It means clear seeing, but there's different clairs too. And these are thought to be intuition and your intuition's way of talking to you. So I'll just go run through them quickly. You can do some Google research on them. It's super interesting. But there's clear cognizant, which is clear knowing, which is that sort of download that you get out of nowhere. It's just, oh, it's an aha moment. That's clear cognizant. Okay. Clear sentient is a clear feeling. You just know in your bones that something is right, wrong, something's happened. You hear these stories about people who know when their mother died 300 miles away. They just had this feeling at that exact time. That's clear sentience. There's clairvoyance, which is clear seeing. You can have clairaudient, which is clear hearing. So sometimes people will hear something clearly. Clear alliance, which is clear smelling. After my grandmother died when I was really young, I used to smell her perfume all the time, not constant, but like it would come and go. And that's an intuition's way of talking to you too. And clairgustance, which is clear tasting. So those are all just different ways that we can connect to our inner knowing and sort of our inner guidance system. Okay. One way that we can all use to hone into our intuition is journaling. What you do is you just grab a piece of paper, a pen, a notebook, whatever. It doesn't have to be fancy. And you just either ask yourself a question of something you want to find out. You're trying to make a decision right at the top of the page, or just ask yourself, what do I need to know right now? Right? And just write. Write and just write and just write. And it doesn't need to be clear. You don't need to be able to see it and understand it and read it back. You just need to write. Stream of consciousness. Your body has so much to tell you. You don't even know. You're going to be writing things down that you didn't even know you thought. But if you take the time to clear your head and just write down, what do I need to hear right now? What do I need to know right now? Or what's going to help me in making this decision that I have to make? All of those knowings are going to come out from pen to paper. It's that body-mind connection again. Okay. And you can throw it away after. Just the practice of doing that and getting into the habit of letting your intuition speak, you're going to develop stronger skills. It's going to have a louder voice. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, numbers. Numbers is a cool way for intuition to talk to you. You guys probably aren't going to believe this, but it's the truth. For the last 20 years, every single day, nearly, not every day, 9 days out of 10, I'll see the time 11:26 on the clock. Usually it's the morning because I'm an early bird. I'm not awake at 11:26 at night every single day. And it was weird and freaky in the beginning. I was like 15 years old and it just started happening. I'm like, well, this is weird, but I took notice. And now I find myself seeing 11:26 all the time. Sometimes it's like in my car, I'll be driving 126 kilometers an hour, right? And it's not 11, but it's close enough that I know for me it's my signal, right? And that means for me that I'm on the right track, that my intuition is just saying like, yep, things are on the right, like you're traveling down the right road. Everything is sort of in line here. And if I go through a couple days without seeing 11:26 somewhere in my world, maybe it's on a sign, maybe it's on somebody's license plate, maybe it's somewhere. And if I don't see it, I always check in with myself and I'm like, what could be out of balance here? Where do I need, like, I know that's my sign to check in with myself and ask my intuition what I need to know, or really acknowledge something that I probably already know that I need to deal with. So numbers, a lot of people like to do numbers on the clock, like 111, 333, 222, things like that. So if you can catch those things, use those as an opportunity to check in with yourself and use those as a prompt that your intuition is trying to get your attention. Okay. Okay, that was a lot of information. I know we're coming up 9 o'clock here, so if you need to dive off, not to worry, the replay will always be there for you. But I do want to touch briefly about how to create some space for these things in your life, okay? And then we're just going to do a quick closing ceremony. And if you're still on the call, you'll be in the draw for the coaching session, which I'm so excited. So we're just going to bring it all home now. We're going to talk about how to create the space to use some of these tools that I've given you today, okay? Because what good are tools without action? You need the time and the space to be able to take the action on them. So first thing is to make physical space in your body for these things, right? Make room for yourself and your energy and your intuition in your own body. So there's a lot of different ways that you can do this, including like gentle yoga, like a yin yoga. You can do different breathing exercises. You can do grounding practices. The easiest one would be to like go outside and physically put your bare feet on the grass. If you're like me, it's, there's 10 feet of snow on the ground. You can't do that in the winter, but touching a tree, or just like getting grounded to the earth creates physical space in your body. You can do a body scan like we did at the beginning, where you set your intention to just focus on different parts of your body and check in with yourself, okay? You can release energy by creating space, by cutting the cords, cutting those spider webs, pushing it away, having the energy shower. All those things are going to create space in your body for more energy and for your intuition to talk to you, okay? You can do big, like exhaling breaths. That's a really good way. Anything that you do to release negative energy frees up space for positive energy to come in, okay, which is the wonderful thing. You can also create expansiveness and space in your mind to be able to utilize some of these tools. So like we already touched on, asking yourself, what do I need to know right now? Or one of my favorite routines or things to do to create space mentally is having a routine around the lunar cycle. So a full moon and a new moon. I have a ritual kind of that I do every time a new moon or full moon comes. A full moon is a time traditionally that is used to release anything not serving you. And so I use that as a time to create space in my life by releasing something, a person, a thought, a habit, anything. It can be anything. A food, it can be anything that's not serving you. And by doing that it's about every 30 days or so, a full moon, you're constantly in a habit of creating space by releasing things that aren't serving you. So that's really fun. And the last thing is, I just want to remind you to surrender and trust that what is meant for you is coming, and everything is happening for you. Your intuition is always guiding you. All of the situations that you're encountering, there's a lesson there to be learned, okay? Tune in. Just tune in and trust that your inner self, your soul, your intuition, it always has your highest good in mind. And whatever you call it, that connection to your soul, that's whatever feels right for you. Trust it, get to know it, practice, get in tune with it. It's sort of that something bigger that created you and is a part of you, which is so exciting. Okay, quick closing ceremony. We're going to take a deep breath in, deep breath out. We're going to do that 3 times. A lot of information. We got to create some space. Okay, and I have an affirmation for you guys. If you can repeat this, write it in the chat, write it down somewhere. This is an affirmation for you to take with you to be able to use some of the tools from tonight, okay? I trust in my ability to know what is right for me and to act on it. I trust in my ability to know what is right for me and to act on it. I trust in my ability to know what is right for me and to act on it. Okay, have a drink of water, take a deep breath, and I want you to just give yourself such deep gratitude for taking the time tonight. It's been a pleasure chatting with you, sharing some of these tools with you. It's been so fun. And I hope that you got a lot of value out of it. I'm just gonna do a quick check-in, see on social media if we've got some people who are able to tag us, who were able to participate. So fun. Okay, cool. So for the one-on-one coaching session, Stephanie Morgan, you are the winner of the giveaway. Thank you for being here. I'll reach out to you and set you up. We can get organized with the one-to-one coaching. So thank you guys so much. And if you would like to stay on with me a couple more minutes, I have an offer that I'd love to share with you. It's if you want to work together in a deeper, more meaningful way to sort of make real transformation and impact in your life through time ownership and goal achievement and deepening, of course, your intuition. I just want to share with you some new things that was going on. So if that's not for you, thank you so much for your time and have an amazing night. And if it is for you, I'll just take a couple more minutes of your time and share with you what's going on. So I have a new hybrid group coaching program that is being launched. It's launching today, which is so exciting. The cart's open for 30 days, which basically just means that you have 30 days to be able to sign up for the program. And it's 3 months long. It's sort of this immersive journey into soul alignment. Okay, it's designed for moms who really want to just reconnect with themselves and build the life that they deeply desire. And so my goal is to get you back to feeling like you. And in order to do that, got to do the work. And so 3 months is a great amount of time. I've set it up so that it's part coaching via Zoom in a group. It's part community connection in a private portal where we can ask questions, support each other, talk, air our frustrations, celebrate our wins, anything that's going on. And then it's part self-study. So I've created this library of workshops and tools and resources, master classes, and all kinds of really cool things that are self-paced so that you work through those on your own. We meet up every month, we have group, we're staying in community through this private portal all throughout. And it's a really amazing interactive experience where you come out of it with the tools and the resources and the roadmap that you need to be able to make the change in your life. So the purpose really is to learn how to reconnect with your interests and what makes you happy, to prioritize your health and your well-being so that you can show up as the mom you want to be, as a person you want to be, as the partner you want to be, as the boss, employee, teacher, community member, whoever you want to be, so that you can show up fully in that role. That's what I want for you at the end of this, and to feel empowered and in ownership of who you are so that you can really serve to the best of your abilities. I wanted it to be super easy and accessible for people. So it's the combo of online and in person, virtual. You don't have to actually go anywhere. Of course, during that time, it's questions, it's coaching, it's personal. I take any questions in advance of the call, and I answer those personally on the call. We also do some hot seat coaching, some question and answer, that type of thing, and really just get into it. And the virtual meetups, they're just there to fire us up, to sort of build our spirit, to keep us excited about the program, because I know it can feel lonely if you're working through something on your own, but it also can be too big of a commitment to show up every week to something, and then you feel like you're not participating, you're not showing up, you get disappointed in yourself and you quit on yourself, and that is exactly what I want to avoid. So this program is set up exactly to support you in the ways that moms need to be supported. If we're going to learn and grow, we need a combination of independence and group. So I've made it super affordable so that anyone can afford to do it. It's like $2 a day for the 3-month program. But because you're on this call, I know that you're somebody who wants to make change for themselves, and I'm doing an early bird pricing special, saving $50. So it's $149. So 147 bucks, sorry, even cheaper. And if you're American, whoo, forget it, it's all in Canadian dollars. So that's really cool. $2 a day to transform your mindset, take ownership of your time, to achieve your goals, to get in alignment with your intuition. I know what it's like to be a working mom who's short on time, you know, and that's why I made it self-paced. That's why I understand what it is to spend your time and money on investing in yourself. And it's something that I put off for myself for a really long time. And if I can motivate another mom to make a shift sooner than I did, and to get the resources and to create the change earlier than I was able to, that's my whole goal. And that's everything. That's why I do what I do, because it's your life, and the ripple effect of you getting happy and you getting in alignment, so huge. It impacts everybody and everything in your life. So feel free to join me. It's called Living with Heart, A Journey to Soul Alignment. If you sign up before Sunday, it is $147. I will pop in the chat the link if anyone is interested in doing that. I will also have it, of course, in the, I will also have it, of course, in the recap email, and then you can sign up by Sunday. That link and code is going to be good to Sunday. Then, of course, it goes up to 197 bucks, and it's open registration till the 12th of March. We get kicked off on the 13th of March, so 1 month from today. Months of connection and growth. So I'm super excited about that. So thank you guys so much for sticking with me.